Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here, KJRadio.com. What's the number? 844-551-8255. Harvey Weinstein back in the news because of the Golden Globes and for other reasons as well. You remember Harvey, right? The guy who, for 3 decades plus, has molested, raped, and sexually abused women throughout Hollywood and has been the well-kept secret of all of them. And all the big names have been seen in pictures with Harvey Weinstein. They want to be, part of that glamour of Weinstein. By the way, these people wouldn't have paid 2 seconds of attention to Weinstein if he wasn't making films, if he wasn't rich, if he wasn't powerful, if he couldn't put them with the other so-called elitist. So here's what's interesting about that whole situation, right? Somebody deems you an elite, and then everybody that gets into your orbit can be part of that elitism. So then everybody wants to get to you because they can get to you by being getting to the people that are in your orbit. And so it's just a jockeying thing of everybody wanting to be there. And so they overlook all your peccadillos, all your idiosyncrasies, all your evilness. They just overlook it. And that's exactly what happened to Harvey Weinstein. And it gets to the point where it becomes the norm. It's the way it is. It's the rite of passage. It's the ritual to get to the brass ring. I look at Oprah Winfrey the same way. A lady that connived and cheated because she wanted to be able to hobnob with the rich and famous. Technically, Oprah's not one of them. It's like a newscaster. You go, she's reading the news or she's hosting all the big names. She brings in Brad Pitt and Angelina. She brings in Denzel. She brings in presidents and other people. She interviews them. And by virtue of being in their orbit, she becomes one of them. And in fact, with Oprah, she became bigger. Same with Harvey. It was great to be seen with the stars, but to get to Harvey was a bigger deal, believe it or not. To get to Spielberg and whoever else, Lucas, Scorsese, big names. They make films. That's their job. Good for them. And so, but people get caught up in it. And I get it, man. It's so cool because it's imaginative. It's got all these elements to it. It's the same reason why we gravitate. We give so much power to somebody who's got a beautiful voice. Streisand, what an amazing voice. Her politics, she's an idiot, but she's got an amazing voice, so we should listen. Ariana Grande, Lady Gaga, Jennifer Lopez. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I know. She is the big booty, the whole thing. So, look, I get it. But it bugs me that we give so much to these guys. Anyway, that's not where I was going to go with this. I was going to talk about what happened to Weinstein. He's in rehab for his addiction, his affliction, whatever you want to call it. They've got him out in Arizona. And he did a month, and then they declared him cured, and then I guess the feedback was pretty bad. So they came back on and says, no, you got to do some more. And let's be honest, he's not going to be cured. And for the record, I don't know that you're ever cured of an affliction. You just learn how to deal with it properly so that it doesn't become intrusive to your life. So to that end, Weinstein probably still is going to want to take advantage of women. He just probably won't have the opportunity anymore. And if he's smart, he'll just embrace that. Like it's a guy that was at my church. We had a men's retreat, and he said to all of us, he says, yeah, I have a sexual addiction. And he goes, so when I see a beautiful woman, he goes, I bounce. And he means that his eyes will see her, and he immediately reflectively looks away. And just tells himself, like, I didn't see her. I didn't see that. And he goes, it's something that I deal with every day because they're beautiful women. He goes, I bounce. I've learned how I just don't look. He won't, if your wife is gorgeous, he will not talk to her. He won't look at her. He'll look down and just, yep. Because he knows what he's dealing with. But he also knows it isn't something that goes away. I just have to be able to, inside of myself, say, nope. I have no interest there. So I don't know whether Weinstein's going to be cured. I think that Weinstein's pathology dates back to being the ugly Jewish kid that, fat with zits that nobody liked, and girls treated him badly, and now he's taking it out. He can't be a serial killer, but he can be a Hollywood producer. But he got attacked. That's where I was going. While he was out in Scottsdale, he was at a restaurant. This was on TMZ, for those of you who don't believe me. He was at a restaurant called Elements in Camelback Mountain Resort, having dinner with his, quote, sober coach, and two men sat at a table next to him. And one of the men, a guy named Steve, was saying to TMZ, he walked up to Weinstein and told him he loved his movies and would like to take a photo with him. And Steve says Weinstein became belligerent and told him to buzz off. The manager of the restaurant says Weinstein wasn't belligerent. She says, to the contrary, he was very sweet about it and says, I'd rather not take a picture right now. That makes more sense to me. The manager says the two shook hands. Steve went back to his table. At 9 p.m., Weinstein and his sober coach got up to leave at the same time as Steve and his dinner companion were leaving. And Steve tells TMZ he had quite a bit to drink, told his friend to fire up his cell phone and shoot video of what was about to happen. Now, we can stop there. Here's the thing. Weinstein doesn't deserve that. He doesn't. For the record, we've driven by where he's living, where the residence where he's at for this whole sexual addiction thing. Just for shickles. I wanted to see, where the healing happens. And I'm curious at times if I'll see the guy out. But speaking of which, it's a different subject a little bit, but when I was in New York the last time, I saw Monica Lewinsky. I didn't see her in the carnal way, and I didn't see her like Bill Clinton. Well, you looking at me crazy. I saw Monica Lewinsky. I was leaving my hotel. I was going to go get something to eat. And sure enough, bopping by me was Monica Lewinsky. No makeup. And, she looked pretty much the same. A little older, but she looked the same. And she had it was chilly that night, jacket on and a what do you call it? Like a boa around her face. But she wasn't hiding, but you could tell it was Monica Lewinsky, but she wasn't flaunting it, but she wasn't hiding. Yeah, I saw Monica Lewinsky. I haven't seen Weinstein yet. Anyway, Steve walks up to Weinstein. He says, you're a piece of crap. He used a different word for what you did to these women. And he punched him in the face twice. He said Weinstein stumbled backwards and almost fell. But again, that was the restaurant owner manager said neither of the punches connected. And Steve at this point was drunk out of his gourd. And the person who filmed the incident asked if Weinstein wanted to call the cops, and Weinstein said nah, and everybody just left the restaurant. So he's got a target on his back for a little bit. He's no Jeffrey Dahmer. He's no, I guess, OJ. I don't know what would happen if OJ was there, but he's got some haunting that's going to be happening for a while. Anyway, more about Weinstein, the Golden Globes, when we come back. Much more important issue.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.